have sent message to you. Whether you are suffering or not, and they choose to embezzle all the money, they have no business. Pablo Escobar mandate, they shall stand. Whether you are dying or not, Boko Haram is kidnapping your family, and the presidency is not defending you, which is the primary aim of the president, to defend the properties and the rights of the citizen. So whether Boko Haram is mesmerizing Nigeria, kidnappers are mesmerizing Nigeria, it's none of the business of a lawmaker, because of the mandate of the Pablo Escobar. They shall stand. Hello guys, I hope this video finds you well. Guys, I saw the video of Pablo Escobar, Chief Tinubu, when he went to National House of Assembly to present the 2024 budget. All right, guys, I'm sure some of you must have seen the video, right? Did you see the show of shame that was displayed by our lawmakers? In Nigeria, we have three arms of government. We have the legislators, we have the executive, we have the judiciary. We have the legislator, the lawmakers, the executive, presidency, and the legislator, lawmakers, right? The executive, presidency, the judiciary. Okay, three arms of government. These three arms of government are independent on their own. Okay, the legislator is a place for the masses. The legislator is a house, is where the citizens send their representative to speak on their behalf, to defend their interest, right? But what happened when Pablo Escobar arrived the National Assembly to defend the budget? Guess what? They started singing an allegiance song to him. On your mandate we shall stand. On your mandate. In National House of Assembly that represent the interest of every single Nigeria. The duty of the legislator is to scrutinize the activities of the executive, is to defend the interest of the masses. We have various political parties in Nigeria, even represented right, at the National Assembly there. All right. Not all of them are under APC, but all of them stupidly and cowardly singing on your mandate we shall stand. You see, the likes of Labour Party, senators, these were, folks who were supposed to have stood, to defend, to kick against us. But I want to ask, how can they do that when they themselves they have eaten sour grape? Cash of 160 million offered to them in a country that is bankrupt, that the citizens are suffering. Others corrupt one accepted. The Labour Party senators also accepted. The question I ask, how will they have the nerves, the effrontery, the audacity, the capacity, the capability to speak and kick against such? Anyway, I am upset. Before I go further, please, can you watch the video of Kenneth Okonkwo? Kenneth Okonkwo has a message for them. I'll be right back.
I am of the opinion that the opposition so far has failed, and failed woefully in Nigeria.
Since when has this failure started? Is it of recent?
From May 29, 2023. And I'm talking about, of course, it has failed from 1999. I'm just talking about as in this regime. Good. Why am I saying so? A president in his inaugural speech committed an abuse of power, committed a desecration of rule of law.
What do you mean by that?
Fuel subsidy is gone.
It has a policy pronouncement.
No.
It falls within the powers of the president. No. You may quarrel with the process, but he has the power to take executive decisions.
The president has no power to appropriate any money to any issue in Nigeria. And once appropriated, he has no power to go against it. There is already a law, PIA, that said subsidy cannot go until the end of June. It is a law. The job of the president is to execute, to administer and implement the laws.
So what should have been the reaction of the opposition?
The opposition should have immediately screamed. This is not a dictatorship. You are not elected to impose your will. There is a law already existing. You cannot even mention it.
But that thing didn't come up from the opposition. Not as much as...
At all. They were busy struggling for post in the National Assembly. Struggling. And then this same person came out and chose leaders for you. And none of them could scream. Today, the National Assembly is a photocopy of the executive. We used to say that Senator Lawan is a rubber stamp. But now we have a photocopy.
What's the difference between the two?
Rubber stamp is that I can stamp my authority on you. Photocopy is that you are me.
All right. Have you watched the video now? Do you agree with Kenneth Okonkwo? Isn't this a shame? Isn't this a slap on behalf of Nigerian masses? People are supposed to always, there are some decisions the executive will take, the presidency will take. Now, this legislator, these folks, they are the ones that are supposed to say, no, you can't do this. This is what our citizens want. But now they have said it, they approve it by singing songs of allegiance to him. Right here, standing, or your mandate we shall stand. What does that mean? Whether the going is good or your mandate, they will stand. Whether the going is bad or your mandate, they shall stand. Whether the president take a good decision on behalf of the masses, good or bad, or your mandate, they shall. Nigerians, your senators have sent message to you. Whether you are suffering or not, and they choose to embezzle all the money, they have no business. Pablo Escobar mandate, they shall stand. Whether you are dying or not, Boko Haram is kidnapping your family, and the president is not defending you, which is the primary aim of the president, to defend the properties and the rights of the citizen. So whether Boko Haram is mesmerizing Nigeria, kidnappers are mesmerizing Nigeria, it's none of the business of our lawmaker, because of the mandate of the Pablo Escobar. They shall stand, irrespective of whether you go or protest tomorrow. And Pablo Escobar decided to send, military, like what happened in Togo, to eliminate all of you. It's none of their business. On his mandate, they will stand. He's killing you, they will stand on the mandate. You are dying of hunger, they will stand on his mandate. Can't you see coward? All right, please, I want to show you the last video by Rufai Oseni. Rufai Oseni have a message for them. Please watch this video, give it a thumbs up, please like it, and share this video, please. I'll see you in my next video. God bless you.
Good morning to you, viewers. Let's begin what's trending, with reactions trailing the joint session of the National Assembly on Wednesday, where President Bola Ahmed Tinubu presented the 2024 budget proposal of 27.5 trillion naira. While many Nigerians have expressed concern about the projected expenditure of the budget, Senate President Godswill Akpabio assured the president that lawmakers will consider the budget. Akpabio, however, advised the president not to allow his cabinet members travel when they're expected to defend the budget at the National Assembly.
We assure you that the proposals you have come to present to us will be diligently considered accordingly. We approach this moment with a sense of duty, unity and purpose to ensure maximum attention to the review of the year 2023 budget performance and the consideration of the year 2024 budget estimates. We request Mr. President would mandate honorable ministers and heads of agencies to avoid foreign travels during this period of our engagements with them. That will prevent them from dishonoring the invitation of the chambers of the National Assembly. They will promptly appear before our committees to defend their budget estimates. We will not want to wait for them, otherwise we will lose time, and time is not on our hands.
All right. Akpabio says he wants the ministers around, he wants them not to travel, otherwise they will lose time. I mean, this is a concern for a lot of Nigerians, because people are saying, he wants to pass this budget so quickly. But however, after that budget proposal, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu traveled to Dubai for COP28 for the climate summit, which is themed Unite, Act and Deliver. There he'll discuss severe impact of climate change on Nigeria. And you know that, we have a lot of issues with flooding, as well as erosion, drought, and national security. The president obviously must have traveled with senior delegates for that summit. We don't know who they are. We don't know the ministers. I know that the Minister of Environment will be there, as well as Minister of Foreign Affairs. But another reaction trailing the joint session of the National Assembly was a song of allegiance, On Your Mandate, We Shall Stand, which was used to usher in President Bola Ahmed Tinubu before he presented the budget. Well, let's take a listen before we come back for a discussion.
So, distinguished colleagues and honorable members, let us at this point welcome the President, a man with track record, an alumnus of the National Assembly, to present his budget estimates. Can we give him a resounding applause?
Well, all right. Let's take some reactions. This is the big wig. His tweet reads, National Assembly singing for Tinubu. We have witnessed rubber stamp Senate under Ahmed Lawan. But this Godswill Akpabio Senate is a collection of hype men. He has moved from wearing Tinubu's insignia cap to on your mandate hyperlord, right on the floor of the Senate. Every well-meaning Nigerian must condemn this rendition of Tinubu's campaign tune in the National Assembly chamber, an evidence of outright totalitarianism. Dr. Abati.
I agree with, what did you call that person?
Big wig.
Big wig.
Big wig.
Is that a name?
Yes.
Okay.
On Twitter.
But in any case, what he's saying makes
Big wig
sense.
Austin. His name is Austin.
This is how it starts. Hero worship.
Yes, so.
This is how parliaments in Africa turn their presidents into dictators. The National Assembly of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if we check both chambers, both red and green, it's a collection of members from different political parties. Labour Party is there, PDP is there, APGA is there, other political parties are there. So it's a place for lawmaking, for good governance, an oversight assembly. This kind of open sycophancy is primitive, if I may use that word. On your mandate we stand is the slogan, is the song, for the APC.
Right.
So the APC cannot hijack a bipartisan National Assembly, where there are other political parties representing the interests of Nigerians. And if you look at the result of the election, it's not every Nigerian that is standing on the mandate of President Tinubu. When the president arrives at an occasion, the appropriate thing to play is the national anthem.
Correct.
And I hope that these lawmakers are not going to pursue the idiocy of playing APC song at public events. The recognized song in Nigeria is the national anthem. If they want, and the presentation of the budget before the National Assembly is a national occasion, not an APC occasion. So that's something to be really condemned. Now, what's the first leg of the story before this?
We talked about the ministers.
The ministers not traveling. Okay. The president asked the National Assembly, the leadership of the National Assembly, to pass the bill expeditiously. And I guess that is within the context of the plan by the government to keep to the old budget cycle of January to December, so that it's not as we used to have it in the past. You now have to run the old budget till, almost half of the year. So I think that in itself makes sense. If the National Assembly is now saying, well, due to the harmonious relationship that we have, we will pass the budget very quickly. But they are saying ministers should not travel, heads of ministries and departments and agencies should not travel, because they will be required, of course, to come and defend some of the line items and explain, and to prevent a situation whereby these lawmakers will write themselves into the Appropriation Act of Nigeria. So it's important that those heads of MDAs also show up. However, if there's proper coordination, I say coordination, I'm not saying the legislature should take directives from the executive. If there's proper coordination, if any minister has a compelling reason to travel, the National Assembly would have been informed, and everything can be very smooth. But the more important point is that the National Assembly has an obligation to do due diligence, not to use that budget to fund luxury. Nigerians don't expect that they will start importing luxury items, luxury subheads into that or constituency projects for their own interest. But otherwise, the Senate President made a number of points about the need to reduce the debt burden, the need to prioritize education, the need for diversifying the economy, the need for Nigeria to stop over-dependence on crude oil, and his point about, how to unbundle some offices, particularly ministries and agencies, either to scrap some or join some. What he needed to say really is that the Tinubu government must summon the courage to implement the Onosaya report, which has been on the table since, so that we can plug the wastages and leakages that Akpabio was talking about. So those are the more important points that he made. But we do not expect that this show of sycophancy will continue, and not that sycophancy on your mandate we stand. They've already passed the budget before even looking at it.
All right. Rufai, if you recall, I did take this story where, Tinubu had this FEC meeting and they played this actual tune. But I said it was because he had just been announced or affirmed president of Nigeria. He was in a group of his people and they had to play that tune. However, it's not the first time, Dr. Abati, you are saying that they shouldn't play it in public. If you recall, during the Niger crisis, I know that the president is the ECOWAS chair. They played the same song of allegiance there.
The allegiance will be to the Constitution, not to an individual.
Dr. Rufai is...
I'm blowing hair this morning because... God help me. At first, shame on all our National Assembly members that were seated there where another song of allegiance was played. Shame. And if we truly had a country, if we truly had a republic, by now, those in their constituency should be sending them letters to show how disgruntled they are, and if possible, recalling them. It is that bad. We're losing a country with sycophancy. But it's not only Tinubu. It happened during Buhari's administration. Remember how people were wearing Buhari's insignia on their body? Now everybody's wearing his cap and all of that. What level of madness have we got into in this country? It's a whole new level of madness. What level of madness are we doing? At the Hollow Chamber? By playing that song, a partisan song, they desecrated the Hollow Chamber. And they must account for it. Let's go back history. Do you know what caused the first English Civil War? The king tried to overreach himself in the parliament and the parliamentarians kicked against it. King Charles I. It led to the emergence of Oliver Cromwell, the Lord Protector of England. The parliament is for the people of Nigeria. Parlement. The meaning of the parliament is parlement, to speak on behalf of the people. Not to do political sentiment and hypocrisy or listen to songs of allegiance posed to a certain political party. And there were some other lawmakers there, they couldn't talk. How would they be able to talk? Maybe we're telling Labour Party lawmakers, when they were part of those that collected the 160 million for cars, will they have the nerve to speak? We're telling lawmakers from other parties to discountenance that they didn't do it. But how will they be able to talk?
Oh, they
We
are?
forget in a
Everyone's-
hurry,
yeah,
Oji. We
everyone.
forget that there are 3 co-equal arms of government in this country. The judiciary, the legislature, and the executive. President Tinubu is the head of one equal arm, the executive. The legislature has a head of his own arm. But we have a legislature that don't even know themselves, and they are kowtowing to the executive. They are worse than copy and paste now. They are worse than rubber. They are hype men, as Big Wig called them.
Hype men.
So shame on all of them for not understanding that they are a co-equal arm of government in this country, and they are singing an allegiance song
Well, all right.
to
well
the
said.
executive. You can see where we started.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was important to highlight it. We don't need a hype man.